how God would prefer to hold our hands instead of us holding his hand. Because if we were in charge of holding his hand, we might let go. But because of who he is, him holding our hands means he'll never let us go.
Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it, and they crucified him. Now, that's crazy. Like, back in the day, myrrh was kind of like a painkiller, and Jesus didn't want to take it. Join together again with Jeff and Emily. Hopefully you guys had a great week, a blessed week, full of, great times with your family. Christmas just passed, so hopefully you guys, had a bunch of, gifts to give the little ones. And that's what it's about, giving to the little ones around this time. I remember when I was growing up in New York, we didn't really celebrate Christmas like crazy. We didn't have like all the fancy gifts and the trees and the lights and everything. I grew up with immigrant parents, so they were kind of just like getting one gift for all the brothers. I grew up with four boys in the house, so 3 brothers. And, Christmas was kind of just something that was like, oh, another letdown, but not in a bad way. It was kind of something that when we did get a gift, we all kind of like came together and we were just all like so excited to open it. And I remember, I tell Emily, one year we got an Xbox 360 and it was like the biggest thing ever. We were like, yo, we made it. We're not, we're rich. Like, it was one of those moments, but it wasn't. It just one big gift.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my Christmases were always very blessed. Like, thank God, because I had a single mom, but I always had my Titi Emily, who I was named after, and she always like contributed and like making sure that we got gifts and all too. But talking about gifts, it just like makes me more grateful, because there are children in the world that don't even get to open one gift on Christmas, and I feel blessed and fortunate enough to say that I'm able to watch my daughter, like open up an abundance of gifts. And though we know like Christmas is not about gifts, like the biggest gift was already given to us. It's Jesus, Christ that came as a baby. But children love toys, they love gifts, and so it's just beautiful for us to be able to watch our daughter and like her eyes light up and like her little voice, she's like, you got this for me, and it's just like the sweetest thing.
But it sometimes it's kind of like what gift is going to trump the other. Because let's say you give your kid like 3 gifts, or you're a parent that gives your kid 15 gifts. It's going to be one of those gifts that's going to trump them all. And it's going to be like, dang, I just got you like 14 other things, but you're just like fixated on that one, Bluey toy.
Yes.
Or whatever it is. And we went through it last year where she kind of like opened something up and she was like, open the next thing and she's like, and I was like, I was just looking at her like, dang.
More.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe we should, record the cool gifts, and then like the clothes and stuff that she doesn't care about. Maybe we'll let her open, off camera or something. But
it's hard to know which ones are which.
It is hard to know. I just know that kids are not gonna care for like clothes. They're not gonna be like, oh whoa, look at this blouse. No, they're gonna be like, where's the toys? Where's the toy guns? Like, where's the cool stuff? The flashy colors and stuff. But it's still a blessing, we just went through a journey. Our church just went through giving out gifts to children, and I think they said numbers like they were trying to get to, I don't remember honestly, but it was like 770.
It was Operation Christmas.
Yeah, they were trying to, that was their ultimate goal. That was like high numbers for them. Like, hey, we got like one day to package all these, and we're trying to get to like 70, I think.
I think it was more than that.
Was it 700 or something?
Maybe.
Oh man, I wish I had the numbers, but you know what? I think
we can look it up.
Holiday season is partnering with Samaritan's Purse,
right,
and doing Operation Christmas Child.
Yes.
Where we've had the opportunity to give toys, or supplies, whatever it may be, to children who are less fortunate. They don't have that opportunity, and y'all's generosity has exceeded our expectations.
Yeah.
We shot for 500, and then we had to raise that number to 700.
Sales,
And
right? And then it went to, like,
overall,
990.
we've given away 989 gifts.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why
that
we were like
is
70. I'm
incredible.
like, they
Yeah,
did way
to
more
children
than
who are
that.
in need.
So
Yeah, my bad. Well, so they were trying to get 500, and that was a high number for them. But then they saw that 500 was like obtainable, so they shot for 700, and then they ended up giving almost 990 gifts to those kids that were just less fortunate than kids that, you know, have both working parents and have, you know, a bunch of gifts under the tree. So, you know, kudos to our church for doing something so beautiful like that in our city. It's for the, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, like it's for the kids, you know, just to see those smiles and those pure hearts just like filled with joy, you know. You know, one thing I do remember growing up, going to church, is that whenever we got gifts donated to the church didn't even care to like wrap them nice. Yo, my Hispanics out there, if you grew up in church, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Is it like this?
Bro, it was either like that or like
Like a basket?
yeah, no, I think a basket would be nicer, but they would literally like get like a sweater, fold up the sweater, and then just like that with the wrapping, and then just tape the wrapping. So it looked like a bag of wrapping. Somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about.
You know, I take like pride in my wrapping skills.
Yeah, I know you do. You should probably like make money off of that because a lot of people don't like to.
I was gonna say you should go get one so they can see, but
That's too far. I'm not
yeah,
gonna do that.
it's in the garage.
No, but you know, Emily does wrap gifts good, and I don't want you to think that I don't, because I wrap gifts great.
This is one of my presents, isn't he? Wrapped beautifully
Yeah,
in this nice sweater.
little wrap too tight. But I wrap gifts good too. You know, I just don't do it enough. That's not, you know, that's.
That's a woman's job.
Whoa. Whoa, I didn't say anything close to that. I just personally don't want to do it. It's not because I'm a man. I just don't want to do it. Kudos to Journey Church. We also went through something that I never experienced before, which is the candlelight like ceremony. Oh man. At the end of the church, they sang this song, right? This beautiful song. And it was dark, pitch black. And I'm on the production team running cameras, and I'm like, this is not ideal. You know, I don't even know what I'm shooting at. But then I saw what they were doing. You know, they discussed it during rehearsal, but they didn't tell me, like we didn't practice it, obviously. You're not gonna practice a bunch of like hundreds of people lighting up candles. So they just talked about it during rehearsal, and then finally when we did it live today, I couldn't even focus on my camera. I was just looking at the visual of all these people just with the music in the background, you know, starting off with one lit candle that was presented with one of the pastor's daughters on the altar. She lit up the lead pastor's candle, and then you just see candles getting lit up all throughout the whole like church. I was like, man, this is magical. You guys got to check it out. It's beautiful to watch. Like I said, all the candles, and we actually recorded one ourselves too, because I couldn't not capture that moment. But check it out. So yeah, like I mentioned, it was a beautiful moment. I had never been through that before. A lot of people in our team, you know, they've been through those candlelight ceremonies in the past, but you know, glad to experience that in person. But just, you know, jumping subject here. There's something that came into our group chat recently. You know, Emily is in a group chat with like her family members and, you know, Christian believers, and one of them sent sightings of angels. And I think we mentioned before how like angels, they have like different forms to them. Yeah. Like what are they called?
They're like different species. One of them is the cherubim. How do you pronounce it? Cherubim?
I think it's cherubim.
Cherubims.
Cherubim.
There's like seraphina.
Yeah.
There's like,
and then there's like 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
But apparently we've been seeing sightings. Not we. That'd be crazy, right? I would run up to the altar while the pastor's preaching and be like, I saw the angel. But, you know, sightings have been captured of these angels. And I need you guys to check this out and verify if this is true, a hoax. You know, should we lean into this? Should we, like, discuss this more? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this kind of information. But watch this.
One starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who...
Okay, so you guys see that glowing, revolving sphere in the sky? Let me show you what some people claim that it might be.
Seraphine, not Serafina. That was a name. Oh my god.
I don't even remember me saying Serafina.
Well, that was like a name that we were thinking about naming our child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely not Seraphim.
It's a seraphim. Sorry, guys.
But watch this. I don't know either. Like, if people are really seeing something like that in the sky, like, what else can it be? Area 51, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think these are angel sightings?
Let us know.
Who knows? But talking about fake stuff,
yeah,
and we're talking about gifting. This is so random. But I saw this video where the caption said. It was about a dad. It said, the caption said, "Oh, you never get us anything for Christmas, right?" Mm-hmm. And the dad is like wrapping up stuff that he buys, like regular things you buy your family,
like a toaster and stuff.
Yeah, he was like wrapping up his son eating cereal. Like his son, he wrapped up the cereal in the bowl, and he's just wrapping up stuff around the house. But the part that had me dying was when he came to his wife and he took off her eyelashes. He started wrapping them up, and I'm like, oh, that's so funny. I don't know why we were talking about fake and then gift, and I was like,
bought you those too.
Yeah, it kind of like brought those two together. But yeah, I don't know what to make out of that. You know, this is
It's hard. It really is.
And would
I don't
you
know, and like we don't know when God's coming. Like the Bible is very clear. It says, "For you will not know the time or the hour I will come in the middle of the night like a thief." But it's like, wouldn't you think, just like God used prophets like in the Bible, like how he like warned them about judgments to come, wouldn't you think that because God is constant, that he would want to show us a warning before he comes? Okay.
I mean, people been talking about warnings for
decades,
even like maybe even centuries.
Yeah, long time.
I'm pretty sure back in like the 18th century or the 19th century, there had to be some people that are like, oh, the end's coming. You guys remember 2012, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, 2012 was like the biggest thing. I think it's because like the Mayan or the Aztec calendar, that's when it ended.
Yeah.
So everybody thought the world was gonna end that year, and it was like
that movie came out the day after tomorrow or something.
No, it's called 2012.
Oh, it was called 2012. Oh.
Yeah. Day After Tomorrow was a different movie.
But that was also like end of the world.
Yeah, it was like a post-apocalyptic. Like it got taken over by like winter or something.
Yeah.
Everything like froze. But yeah, 2012. I don't know what to make of that movie. It never came to be. You know, it's funny when movies try to like prophesize the future.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny looking at it now because they had like flying vehicles, flying hoverboards, you know, super futuristic. But the future in that movie was 2015. They flew into the future 2015. And it's like 2015, there was none of that.
Yeah.
There was no flying cars. It's just funny because we were watching it in church at the time at 2015. It's like, wow, they projected the future to this year. None of that's happening. But I don't know.
Can't always rely like solely on what people say. We have to like be willing to like do our own research, and that goes to say like even with the Bible. Like somebody may take something and run with it and be like, oh well, Jesus, and it's like, no, Jesus did not say that. It's very clear what Jesus said. Like you're just trying to twist Jesus's words.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is kind of like difficult to know what Jesus is saying.
But sometimes it's very clear.
It is clear, but he uses a lot of parables and metaphors, and
He does.
like when he says like I'm the light, he's not 100-watt light bulb.
Okay, but that's like that's very literal.
I'm just saying, like there is metaphors.
Yeah.
He uses many metaphors in the Bible, so you know I guess it is sometimes up for interpretation.
Yeah, to an extent.
So some people are gifted on knowing exactly. Like some people they read a verse and they already know the time and place. They already know the culture of that time. Like something I want to bring up was like in Timothy. I think that's when they talked about, or even in Ephesians when Paul was talking about women. You know, submit to your men or whatever. And everybody takes that verse. Matter of fact, I kind of want to search up the verse. So it says it right here, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. So a lot of people take that verse and they're like, oh, that's misogynistic. You know, the Bible teaches men to be a certain way and women don't have any type of like, you know, say in anything, you know, according to biblical scripture. But it's not that way at all. It's just that at the time in the city of Ephesus, you know, that's what he's writing to, the Ephesians. There was a lot of pastors, right? Teaching like false doctrines, but they were all women. Every single one of them was women in that city. So he was writing this letter to the people, to the Ephesians, like kind of telling them like, you know, women listen to the men when it comes to like teaching false doctrines. So a lot of people take that as like, oh no, he's teaching men how to be misogynistic, and it's like that's not what he's teaching. If it was a bunch of men teaching false doctrines, he'll say something similar to those men. It's just that every single like pastor or preacher out there were teaching false things. Maybe it wasn't their calling. Maybe they had a different calling, you know? And kind of bringing up, you know, calling. What do you feel like you're called to do? Dang, that's a deep cut, right?
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I know you weren't.
I thought you were gonna keep on talking.
Well, the mic is yours.
Oh my gosh. So, I feel like I have a few.
Okay.
I feel like one of them is being a mom. I feel
Okay.
like I was truly called to be a mom because
Yeah, you've been a mom since you were like 12, like.
since I was 14.
Yeah, you've basically been a mom to like people in general.
Yeah, people in general, and at that time is when it sprouted because I have a little sister who is turning 16 here in February.
man.
I love you, Ari, if you watch.
She is turning 16.
She's turning 16, and so I basically raised that girl.
I met her when she was like 3.
with her little moño.
Yeah,
Very
that's
little.
crazy.
But
now she's like almost taller than you. She's taller than you, right?
she is taller. She's 5'7" and I'm 5'5".
Wow.
But I remember like waking up in the middle of the night with my mom, because you know my mom was a single mom, and like, you know, like changing her and like taking care of her and stuff. But you know, like having been so young, like you know, helping take care of like another little human, and also like helping my mom, you know, because she was a single mom. I kind of took on like a motherly personality. So that's why Jeffrey says like a mom to everyone, because I was always like the responsible one, like the voice of reason, like the Holy Spirit. And so, yeah, so being a mom, definitely, because I think it takes a very strong person to be a great mom, to be a mom that is involved, that loves her child very much, a mom that like actually plays and interacts and like talks to them a certain way, you know, like just training them up in the ways of the Lord.
Yeah, I feel like you were definitely called to be a mother. You're a great mother to our children, and they love it.
I love them.
I think I read somewhere where a kid from ages to like 1 to 6, mommy is everything. Mommy, you know, I go to mommy for everything. And then when they're like 7 to 12, dad is everything now. Like they go to dad for advice. Like, you know, they ask dad for stuff. They want to learn stuff from dad. And then from 13 to like 18, it's their friends.
Yeah.
That's where they get most of their influence from.
Yeah, and if you think about it, when they're ages 1 through 6, like they're very impressionable. So me putting my all into my kids and prioritizing them and being mindful of the way I speak to them, right? Because the Bible talks about our tongues being powerful. You know, it could create wildfires and destroy. But what I want to do is speak life into them. And even you know, like as my husband. But that's one of my callings.
I think we just got time for one calling. I mean, that's a great calling, though.
Yeah, and singing. But actually, this calling of being a mom makes me want to pivot to the verse that I wanted to talk about, John, about the shepherding.
Mm-hmm.
So it's John 10, verses 7 through 15. Because being a parent, you're shepherding your children like they're your sheep, right? So, like that.
Yeah, and since we're talking about shepherds,
Yeah.
you know, there's some times when, you know, because shepherds take care of their sheep, right?
Yeah.
And there's times where you have disobedient sheep, where shepherds like break their legs.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a little dark.
They break all their legs. Because if the shepherd's always walking away and they're like, hey, come on, come back here. And that's why they got that stick. You ever seen that stick? It's like
I know the stick.
and it kind of
I
hooks.
thought the little hoof thing was to like put it around their necks to.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep pulling, and if they fall into a ditch, you could pull them out. But sometimes when you have that rebellious one that keeps getting on top of stuff, keeps freaking climbing, you know, structures, and keeps, you know, climbing up the mountain, there's some shepherds that will break all legs purposely.
That's animal cruelty.
And wrap it around the neck, like wrap them around their neck and walk them around. And if you think about it, it's kind of like pretty much biblical, you know, because Jesus doesn't want you to stray away and fall off a cliff. He doesn't want you straying away and getting devoured by wolves. He wants you to stay on route, stay on the path. And if he has to break your legs and knock you down and make you go through some pain, he'll make you go through it. That way he can nurture you. He's handling your situation. You're safe with me. You're not gonna fall off a cliff. You're not gonna get devoured by wolves. You're with me. I am gonna make sure that you're getting healed properly. And in that time, we're gonna train you to follow the path. Like, come on the walk with us. It takes a temporary pain. Breaking your leg sucks, but that's temporary pain. You'll always heal from that. If you get devoured by wolves, there's no come back from that. Fall off a cliff, there's no come back from that. So I just thought it was a good segue when it came to talking about him being a good shepherd.
I mean, yeah, it goes perfectly. Like, I mean, we're not encouraging you to break sheep's legs because it's animal cruelty, but that was like a really good like explanation of like us being humans and like how sometimes God will like put a barricade in your path. Like sometimes it could be something really scary, or he starts off with like small, like little things, like warnings, right? Before you get to the big smack, right? And so that's
exactly
what you
the point.
That's what you want to avoid, though. But before I read the Bible verse, I just wanted to like take a moment, you know, from like the seriousness to like make it a little like, you know, funny and jokeful. But remember the movie we started watching with like the guy that wrote Family Guy?
Oh yeah, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, so remember his sheep and how he was a shepherd, and like some of them would end up on top of the house and the roof.
Yeah, and they're like, well, how do they get up there? And he's like, I have no clue. That's Clarice. Like she always ends up in a weird spot.
I don't know why I just had to say that because it was so funny.
That movie was really funny.
And then Jeffrey could tell you, like I was cracking up. Like I was like, babe, look at the sheep. Why is she on top of the roof? But anyways.
Yeah, I never even really seen him as an actor, but he is so funny. You know, it's not an appropriate movie.
It's not.
But it's called A Million Ways to Die in the West. It's pretty funny watching it.
But so the verse that I wanted to like hone in on was verses 7 through 15. So if you want, you can read 7 through 9.
All right. John chapter 10, verse 7. Therefore Jesus said again, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolves coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep.
And then Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. So, kind of insane how you just brought up the wolves and all. Like how, you know, he doesn't want us to be thrown to the wolves. And so, when I read this, it like hit heavily because not only is Jesus our good shepherd, not only is he the ultimate shepherd, but it makes me look at like a shepherd as like a parent. And we were just talking about like parenting, right? And so I just think it's beautiful and like so profound because Jesus comes to rescue the lost. Like especially when he talks about like those different parables that he uses, like the lost son, the prodigal son, right? That's what it was. The lost coin. And there was a lost sheep like parable story too. And so I just think it's beautiful that we like some of us like go through periods in our life where we are so lost and caught up in the ways of the world, but Jesus will always find a way to like reel us back into him, like how a shepherd captures his sheep, you know, to bring them back to order, which is, you know, following his path. What I wanted to like mainly say with like talking about Jesus being the good shepherd is like put your entire trust in him, knowing that he wants the best for us.
Even if he breaks your legs.
Well, I hope it doesn't have to get to that point.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not just a metaphor. Like, it's true. Like, would you rather be serious about this answer? If you were a sheep, would you rather, you know, fall off that cliff or be devoured by those wolves, or have your legs broken for a month? Broken. Break them.
Okay, in the name of Jesus, we rebuke that actually happening to you.
I'm not a sheep, so I'm not declaring any of this.
Actually, we are, metaphorically speaking. We're
yeah,
sheep.
Metaphorically. So yeah, going back to calling, or you got more to say on?
About the sheep?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So going back to calling, you know, I wanted to show a video basically talking about what am I called to do? Let's check it out.
We got all this American confusion about calling. You know why we're confused about calling? Because in America, you've over-romanticized it. You've made it glorious. You've worshipped the idea of calling. What if God is going to just be a good parent? How about start with the calling to just be a good believer? And stop glorifying all these things. What am I called to do? What am I called to do? You know what? You're called to just be faithful to Christ, have an intimate relationship with Christ, love others, obey what is already written, and then watch. And as you do that, anything beyond that, he will reveal to you.
And that makes me think back to like our calling being to like love and like love him. And in being a good parent, we're loving him, right? Because children are gifts from God. Wow.
I know we watch this man a lot, but
He's good.
He's so good. You know, check out his channel 2819. That's what his church name is named.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's named 2819, and that comes from the book of Matthew.
Mm.
You know, just might as well just pull that up real quick. Everybody knows this verse, but 28:19. Okay, so Matthew 28:19 says, "Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." There we go, making disciples.
Yeah. One life at a time.
One story at a time.
So going off that video, it makes me want to go a little deeper into the word, obviously, which is Deuteronomy 11:22. But before we read it, I just want to ask you, What do you think that God asks of us, like as his children?
Love others. I feel like everything leads back to loving others.
Yeah. The root is love.
The root is love. It's something that I feel like the 10 Commandments, like every single commandment, I feel like is jabbing towards another person. Think about whatever commandment you could think of. Thou shalt not kill, other person, right? Thou shalt not steal, taken from another person. Thou shalt not covet. That's when you're like envious and you're like, oh, I want what they have. That's against another person. You know, all the covenants are about, all the commandments are about doing bad to others. So I feel like the main thing, love others, love and worship God.
So with that, we can go into what it says. It says, if you carefully observe all these commands I am giving you to follow, to love the Lord your God, and how do we love him? Loving others. To walk in obedience to him, and to hold fast to him. So hold on to the Lord. So that actually makes me think back to a quote that I stumbled across like a couple of months ago that I wanted to read to you all. And the quote says, how God would prefer to hold our hands instead of us holding his hand, because if we were in charge of holding his hand, we might let go. But because of who he is, him holding our hands means he'll never let us go.
That's good.
And when I read that, like, I instantly just started to cry. Like, I was like, that is so true, because it's so easy for us to, like, be in a situation where we're just experiencing like hard times, like back to back to back, and it's in those moments where faith is tested, right? It's in those moments where we should persevere, but for some, it's in those moments where they let go of the Lord. But the beautiful thing about the Lord is that he never lets go.
That's exactly where grace comes in, because we don't deserve this. No matter what you do, you walk away 1,000 times. Jesus is always gonna have, he's always gonna have a hold on you. He's always gonna have those open arms for whenever you want to come back. And I know we went over grace last episode, talking about how it's undeserving. And God offers mercy and grace, and the difference between those is mercy is when you deserve punishment, but you get love instead. And grace is when you don't deserve love, but you get it anyways. You don't deserve it. We don't deserve what Jesus has done for us on the cross, but he did it. And my pastor was talking about when he was born, the three kings came to him and they brought gifts. One king brought gold, the other king brought frankincense, and the other king brought myrrh. And I never really understood what myrrh was. I was always like, gold? Okay, that's kind of cool. I would love to get gold. That's a great present. Everybody loves gold. People love money out here. Frankincense? That's kind of cool. It's like a Bath and Body Works kind of thing. Like, okay, give me a fragrance, candle, lotion, one of those. But myrrh? That's used to like embalm dead people. And it's like what you do to mummies to preserve them. But if you think about it, that gift when he was born, it like foreshadowed the future, because he was preserved in his tomb and came back like brand new, like nothing ever happened. But more than anything, there's a verse in the Bible, can't think of it right now, but they offered him when they were I think they were torturing him. Yeah, well, the pastor was saying that today, that before they were about to crucify him, they said, hey, you want this because it'll numb the pain. And Jesus said no. And he talked about how Jesus told God, let your will be done.
No, this is what it means to give God your life. Luke 22:42. He said, Father, if it's your will, take this cup of suffering away from me. However, not my will, but your will be done. Are you ready? Here's what it means to give God your life. It means to give God your will. Do you know how valuable your will is? Like your free will? Your will is so valuable that it's the only thing in all of existence that God will never take. He will take your car. He's taken mine a couple times. He can take away a relationship. He can take away health. He can take away a father. He can take away a mother. He can take away a son. He can take away a daughter. He can take away a job. He can take away a business. But God will never, ever, ever take away your ability to choose.
So yeah, let's go into Mark, because they mentioned myrrh, and kind of like the foreshadowing of it. So Mark 15, verses 23 to 24. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it, and they crucified him. That's crazy. Like, back in the day, myrrh was kind of like a painkiller, and Jesus didn't want to take it because he wanted to, go through that pain. He didn't want anything to mask what he was sacrificing for us. And that was just crazy when I first heard that. I was like, wait, he did what? Why wouldn't you take a painkiller? Like, you're about to get tortured and crucified. Mm-hmm. So, man, it's just the God that we serve and the God that we worship. You gotta never forget what he already laid down for us, what he already did for us. It's crazy. So yeah, that's super interesting when I heard that this morning, and it was a great service, and the candlelight and everything, and just a Christmas theme, all the trees going on, and just the music. They had some lively music, like it was like a mixture of like Christian and like Christmas. It was kind of like remixed in there, and I'm like, whoa, they got some good worship band production. Like they put some time into this thing, and sometimes I look at the band and I'm just like, man, these guys can like shake a room. If they set up a concert, no doubt people will be jumping and throwing their hands, and man, they might as well throw some like Christian tags in there. You know how like some artists. I gotta show you guys this video. This video got me rolling first time I seen it.
La música de Jesus Christ.
Churchaholics mixtapes.
We make it look holy. Moses music.
Metro Boomin wants some more, Jesus. We the blessed music. Yo, Lazarus, you want to come out here? Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above.
This guy is so funny, but come on, like, what an awesome God he is. How's the rest of heaven and... I can never get you to sing on this. Like, all right, whatever. I mean, you want to see Emily sing? Come to a Sunday service, and then she'll let it all out. She does not hold back when she's on that altar. Thank you for checking out the video. Let us know if you like what we discussed. Like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It definitely helps us grow the channel and reach more people, one story at a time.
And also be sure to check out last week's video. We do release content every Monday. We also have an email address, walkwitharmor@gmail.com, where you can leave any constructive criticism, any feedback, any prayer requests. We're here for it all. And we just want to say that we love you all so much. Thank you for your support. Have a great week. Stay blessed, and make sure to occupy until he comes. Godspeed.